Star Wars just confirmed the best Acolyte theory. A year after the show's cancellation, Star Wars has provided evidence to support a major theory from the Acolyte. The ending of the Acolyte Season 1 was highly exciting, despite the overall controversy the show caused. The Acolyte Season 2 story was then shaping up to build on the enticing teasers included in Season 1's finale, be it the hint of a canon, live-action story for Darth Plagueis the Wise, or the teases of a bigger role for a powerful Star Wars Jedi like Master Yoda. The Acolyte Season 2 seemed as though it would overcome the problems that plagued Season 1. However, shortly after Season 1's final episode aired, The Acolyte was cancelled. This meant that many of the theories, lingering plot threads, and intriguing characters introduced in The Acolyte had their promising futures in Star Wars cut short. Despite that, the franchise may just have addressed one such theory. In an unlikely place, Star Wars has provided some evidence that one of the Acolyte's biggest theories was true after all. Firstly, it is worth outlining the theory in question. The Acolyte centered on a set of twins, both played by Amandla Stenberg. The twins were named Osha and May, with the two leading very different lives. Osha and May had a dark past as children born from the magic of witches, leading their coven into conflict with members of the Jedi Order from Star Wars' High Republic era. May was presumed dead after a fire engulfed her home during this conflict, while Osha was taken in by the Jedi. May then became angry and vengeful, following the path of the Sith. Given the mysterious circumstances around May and Osha's birth, and how that linked to teased aspects like Darth Plagueis' immortality and desire to create life using midi-chlorians, it was heavily theorized that the Acolyte's main characters were a Force dyad. The concept of a Force dyad was introduced in Star Wars' sequel trilogy via Kylo Ren and Rey Skywalker. In essence, a Force dyad is a phenomenon where two people are connected through the Force. These two are intrinsically bonded, essentially making up two halves of a whole within the Force. That said, May and Osha were never outright confirmed as a Force dyad. This was simply a theory crafted by fans based on the intense connection between the twins, though it was likely set to be confirmed in future seasons of The Acolyte had they come to fruition. As already alluded to, the most unlikely of Star Wars stories continued the exploration of Force dyads. The story in question was LEGO Star Wars: Rebuild the Galaxy, Pieces of the Past. The miniseries is set within the world established in 2024's LEGO Star Wars: Rebuild the Galaxy, almost as a what-if version of a galaxy far, far away. Although the story of LEGO Star Wars: Rebuild the Galaxy, Pieces of the Past itself is not canon to the wider Star Wars timeline, it includes canon concepts. Via the characters of Sig and Dev Griebling, two brothers, LEGO Star Wars introduced another Force dyad. Beyond simply including a Force dyad in its story, LEGO Star Wars: Rebuild the Galaxy, Pieces of the Past confirmed another facet of the theories about this specific Force connection. Sig and Dev are two polar opposites in terms of their characterization. Sig is a benevolent, happy, easygoing Jedi who always fights for what is right. Dev, on the other hand, was a Sith Lord who sought to rule the galaxy in 2024's LEGO Star Wars adventure. In the 2025 sequel, Pieces of the Past, Dev is redeemed, yet still exhibits his dark side, Sith-like tendencies for large portions of the runtime. Whenever Force dyads have been outright confirmed or theorized in Star Wars, the concept tends to surround two people who are on differing sides of the Force spectrum. Rey and Kylo Ren, the first Force dyad in the release order of Star Wars projects, embodied the theory that one side of the dyad represented the light side of the Force, and the other the dark. May and Osha, despite flip-flopping between the light and dark throughout The Acolyte, were the same. Now, in 2025, we have Sig and Dev, who also represent two sides of the Force, light and dark, as a Force dyad. If anything, this confirms the former theories about a Force dyad being a balance of light and dark. All of this being said, it seems as though all signs point towards May and Osha actually being a Force dyad in The Acolyte. However, whether the promises that come with that will ever be fulfilled is another question. May and Osha's dynamic was one of the more interesting in The Acolyte, despite the screenwriting undeserving the storyline. Given how The Acolyte Season 2 only looked to be improving upon Season 1, their dynamic and Force-dyad connection could have been fleshed out in overly interesting ways. The Acolyte's cancellation means that this likely will never happen, though, of course, there will always be room in extended Star Wars materials, like novels and comic books, to further explore May and Osha as a Force-dyad. Concerning live-action storytelling, however, it seems likely that this theory, now seemingly confirmed by LEGO Star Wars, Rebuild the Galaxy, Pieces of the Past, will remain an unrealized possibility.